Welcome to the Growth Lab, a trusted space for parents navigating their child's developmental journey. I'm Luba Patlakh, a speech language pathologist, myofunction therapist, child and family advocate, and a mom of three. For the last 15 years, I've worked with more than 150,000 children and their families, helping parents understand what they're seeing, what it means, and how to move forward with confidence. This podcast is for parents who want clear, credible guidance when information feels overwhelming or decisions feel heavy. Here we break down speech, feeding, breathing, learning differences, attention, IEPs, and more in practical, easy to understand ways alongside trusted experts. My goal is simple, and it's to help you feel informed, supported, and confident as you advocate for your child. You're in the right place, so let's begin. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Growth Lab. We have another amazing episode today. So behavior is not a random thing, and it isn't manipulation, and it definitely isn't bad. People like to say, oh, behavior, bad behavior. Behavior is oftentimes communication. Today, we're diving into something that impacts every single parent listening. Behavior. We're joined today by Kea Lee, a board-certified behavior analyst and founder of Moment of Behavior. She's a wife and a mom, and she has dedicated her work to helping families move from overwhelm to empowerment. With over 8 years of experience across in-home, clinic, telehealth, and consultation settings, she helps parents, especially those navigating the autism diagnosis or ABA waitlists, understand what behavior really means and what to do next. Because when we shift from why is my child doing this to what is my child trying to tell me, everything changes. Kea, welcome to the Growth Lab.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to learn more about you. Obviously checked out all your socials. We've never met before, but you are so in tune with what I do. And aside from building my brick and mortar clinics, I've now branched out into a personal brand, and I'm here for the families. I'm here. I recognize the need. And when I see people struggling, I always take it back to home. Like, what happens at home?
Yeah.
What has the child seen, experienced, touched, felt? Because when I see the child and the parent tells me what's going on, I can create the proper pathway. And I'm sensing that you do something very close to that as well.
Yes, I do. Like I said, I've been in this field for 8 years, and I kind of just started to see a lack in just the services that we were providing in regard to like specifically helping the parent, because in therapy, like we are so focused on the child, and our parents get like a once a month kind of meeting to tell them like what their kid's doing well and then what they can do at home. But for me, just even being a parent myself, I felt like that just wasn't enough. And so that's why I kind of started to branch out on my own to really help parents meet them where they are a little bit more than what we were servicing them.
You often say behavior is communication. What do you actually mean, and what does that mean for the parent?
Yeah, so behavior is communication, just understanding that your child is not behaving a certain way just because, like, they're not having a meltdown, they're not crying just because. And I know a lot of times, like, on the outside looking in, parents like just see it as that, like, oh my gosh, they were just crying for no reason, or they're just falling out on the floor, or they are aggressing towards me for no reason. But there is something is going on, whether it's physical, so trying to look at what is going on with their body. Is there, I always talk about clothing, because I think clothing is such a big piece for children, and they can't really express all the time, even if they have words. Sometimes even having words doesn't mean that they can effectively communicate what it is, what's going on. So for parents, I try to have them look at that, like, okay, what's going on physically? Clothes? Are they hungry? Are they tired? Is this a place that you've been before that they just don't like? Did you go here before and maybe a dog ran out in the street? Like, what happened at this particular store that could possibly make them make them like not wanting to go in? Why are they backing out? So I try to help them see it in that light, like looking at all of the details and try to find patterns that they see in their child's behavior. And then from that, they can then find like the communication or whatever it is that their child is trying to communicate to
You're
them.
literally what I do, except for speech, but you do for behavior. Literally, and I work with BCBAs all the time.
Yeah.
My pathology, we have a whole ABA division. So I always tell people, because they come in and they'll be like, yeah, my child just needs a behavior evaluation. And I'm like, are you sure? And I always preface that to people, because I'm like, I know you're coming here and you think your child needs this, but we're going to take a look at globally what they need. And then it's always speech, maybe sensory needs, and all of those things play in. They don't realize how much the puzzle fits together.
Even as adults, like our behavior is just not, it's just not happenstance. We're not behaving a certain way just because. So I try to like put it into that perspective too. Like, you behave a way for a specific reason, and you're communicating that behavior in a way because of a certain reason. So try to like think about yourself.
Most people, so everybody. But I just did a reel on this, and the title is "Parents Are Just Big Kids," because literally, when my alarm clock goes off in the morning, I also don't want to get up, and I pull my covers up because I want to stay in bed, cozy, warm, I'm tired, 100 reasons. But I know as an adult, like, I have responsibilities, so I get up and I muster the courage to go. Or if I'm reading instructions, like from IKEA, or God knows, one of those Amazon desks that comes, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I can be like, you know what, I need a minute, I'll come back to this clear-headed. But a child doesn't always have the ability to express that, both syntactically and emotionally. I think they don't always have it, so they're just frustrated. But we're all human beings. It's just like a smaller version with less skills, and a bigger one who we hope has learned those skills. And I try to express that. Like, I don't know about your family dynamics, but I have 3 children, and I do have to tell my husband sometimes, like, they're 4, 8, and 10. They're not 20. This isn't your business partner. This isn't, like, you can't hold them to the same expectation. And I think that it's really a concoction of that, because people see a child's behavior and they're like, again, you're misbehaving. Blah, blah, blah. But it's really code. Like, I'm hurting, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm itchy, my clothes are. And then if you add autism, then you're completely, the child is dysregulated already, and people just in our society don't have the time and patience to really like understand that. So for you to train them, that is serious stuff.
Thank you.
Do you still carry a caseload as a BCBA, or are you fully consulting right now?
No, I still carry a caseload. My goal is that by the end of this year, I will be fully consulting, because that's just where my passion is. I really love working one-on-one with the parents, and just seeing like the transformation that they have had so far, and I just want to continue to reach more parents. I love working with the kids and being like in a center, but I'm just ready to shift fully to consulting.
No, and you can tell in your heart, and you know yourself, so when you're working on something that really speaks, then you can really help people, because your heart's already there, and we're helping the kids along the way, because once you help their parent, they're that much better off. But
they really are.
What first pulled you into wanting to become a BCBA?
So first, actually, my background is in speech. My undergrad is in speech language pathology. Yes. So I was going to go that route, but then I took a little break, transitioning from undergrad to grad school, and I became a teacher. And then through being a teacher, like a preschool teacher, I had a student who had really intense behavior, and she would have a therapist come in. This is when I had no idea about ABA. I didn't know what it was. And she would come in and do ABA therapy, and I just started to see the change in her behavior, and it just intrigued me a little more. So after that, I just dove a little bit deeper and learned about it, and then I found the BCBA route, and then I decided to become a BCBA, and it really just changed my perspective on children as a whole and behavior and how to really help them. And then I also too have a cousin who has autism too, so like understanding him a little bit more by being in this field, my love for it has really grown.
You've seen what it can do. And I think that really, you should talk about that. So give an example of like pre-behavior to, especially somebody so close, like a cousin. How has being in a BCBA, work style for the individual with autism change their lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it's just one, understanding the behavior, understanding why, like, example, like for my cousin, just why he was doing certain things. Like when he was little, he's 15 now, but when he was little, say about like 3 years old, I remember like he would come and like sit near my leg and like rub his cheek against my leg, and I'm like, why is he doing that? Like, I just didn't understand back then. I thought it was kind of odd. But yeah, growing, after learning, I was like, wow, he was doing that because there was a sensory input that he was looking for. He just liked people's legs and arms. So having that like compassion, it really helped like shift my mindset. And then I think for like him and just serving other individuals that have been diagnosed, just being able to understand where they are, having empathy, and truly having real compassion for them, it helps you to be able to get on their level and then teach them moving forward different skills at their level. And not thinking that everybody needs to learn at the same level, just understanding that, this child may be communicating so we can implement different skills at this, tier. And then this child is still learning how to throw away trash or follow like one-step instructions. So now we can teach at this type of level. So just learning those two. Do
you think it really just comes down to like the breakdown of the methodology, or is it the closer look at what they can versus can't do and how we're approaching it? Like, what is it about ABA that gives us success?
I think looking at it very individualistic, not taking it like cookie cutter, like saying that this communication goal or this receptive ID goal or expressive ID goal is going to work for every child. Just looking at them very individualized, and then planning accordingly based on the skills that they can do and what you can see the possibility, of them, or what they could possibly do.
So, so since you already know, but in speech therapy, we're always saying like when children can't say something, their body says it for them. And I think you experience that. I think parents really need to hear that from multiple angles. The behavior specialist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, because they don't always understand why their child is doing XYZ thing. What's the biggest mindset shift that parents have when they first start working with you?
I think one is just recognizing those, like you said, even like the body cues. So one thing that I'm really big on is like assent-based care. And within assent-based care, you are really paying attention to your child's body language. So say like if you are trying to I always tell your parents, like, if you're trying to get your child to do something and their body language is not ready to receive that information, like maybe they're turned, or maybe they'll pull away, or even their face is a little more disgruntled, they're not in a happy like state, like really paying attention to those small cues, those can shift in how your child like responds to you. Because if you're giving them an instruction and they're just not ready, sometimes, and then you're wondering why they're having more behavior, like, oh, I thought they were just calm, but no, did you really pay attention to their body language? So that's like one of the mindset shifts that I feel like a lot of my parents have. And then also just, this is like opposite of that, is just giving themselves grace to learn. Like, I think that parents do not give themselves enough like time and grace to know that this is a journey and this is a learning curve, let alone like parenting itself is you're learning. Like, nobody really teaches you how to be a parent. You just learn on the way. But then adding a diagnosis, like, that's another layer. So another mindset shift for the parents that I serve is just learning to give yourself grace in those moments, and knowing that you are on a journey and that you're learning every day.
I always say, and I mean, look, a lot of parents come, for some reason, they're like, they think it's a mechanic. I'm going to drop off my kid and you're going to, fix the wheels and then I'm going to come back and we're going to be right. No. And from orientation, from the minute they're coming in, I am like, we're here for you. I'm holding your hand. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you. We're going to get this moving, but this is a team. You need to follow. You need to do the same carryover like we're doing. And with us all working on the same thing, that's that impact. That's when the change, and that's when everything in the mindset shift with the parents can happen. Because until they understand, then they just are bringing you for like extracurricular, and that's not what this is. No, because don't you come encounter that?
No, it's so true.
Oh, like, I'll just bring him, and you're like, okay, and here's what we did, and here's what you have to do. And they're like, oh, I have to do something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
yes, we do.
Yes. And I'll even get parents say, like when I was full time, like they'll say like, well, we don't see any change at home. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing? Like, are you implementing the things that we have talked about? Like even what your technician tells you at the end of the session and our parent meetings, like, are you doing it at home? They're like, oh,
right.
I need to do it. Like, yes, this is your life.
Life is busy and but if you already took the steps to come and call you or come to a center and get help, then do it, Parents, we're talking to you. You want help, so we're working together. We're all dedicated to helping your child, but it's not going to work if you're not doing it too.
Right, because we're not going to be with them for the rest of their lives. You are.
Exactly. So. No, that is so true. Tell me, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about ABA right now? Taking a quick break from the episode to share something close to my heart, I wrote a children's book, and it's officially available for pre-order. It's called Bobo Wears a Bow Tie, and it's about a little character learning that growth doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be brave. If you're raising a child who's working hard, trying new things, or sometimes feeling unsure of themselves, this book was made for your family. Pre-order yours today at bobowearsabowtie.com. That's BOBO wearsabowtie.com. All right, back to the episode.
Oh man, okay, that's a good one. I think I would say one of the biggest misconceptions is that ABA is like very just rigid. Mm-hmm. There's no fluidity. It's very like hard, and it's not understanding of a person. And I think it used to be that way, like old school ABA, but ABA is really like evolving, especially like when I talked about the assent-based care. I think a lot of people are leaning more into that now and moving away from like compliance based. So like I say you do type of thing, and it's more integrated into play and following the child's lead, and just focusing on like what's most important to the child in the moment and going based off of that. And I think that once more people understand that there's a lot of good in ABA, and that we help with so many different skills, motor, communication, social, independent skills. The list just goes on. But knowing that it's not that a child is sitting at a table like all day. Like the clients that I serve right now, they are rarely at a table. We are doing trials on the trampoline. We are practicing like, following direction skills like in the moment. Like I recently posted about like my client being in the lunchroom and not wanting to put away her lunchbox, but like we're teaching skills in the moment. So come on, like let's follow these one-step instructions while we're cleaning up, and let's work on some peer interaction during play. So just knowing that like ABA is shifting, and it's more like
real.
Applicable to a child.
Real because it's almost like full behavioral skill building in that moment. I saw what you did about the lunch, and I thought that was an incredible technique, and it should be something that behaviorally is installed into every child, because they all want to run around. You think my kids sit at every dinner perfectly? No, I'm like between bites, like come back to the table, come back to the table, come to the table. Did you take your plate away? Like, so it's ABA is like behavioral style of parenting from the provider. I don't know how to explain it better than that, honestly. Because you're doing repetitive skills, and they do stick. Because you're just you have a skilled way to put it on a platter for the individual.
Yes. And I even use like ABA with my kids at home, and I do that because, like I said, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so I use it with them too, and it's really just working on skills through behavior, honestly.
Absolutely. Do you think that there's any advice you have for families who are stuck on ABA waitlists right now? What kind of peace of mind can you offer them?
So, that's what I do through Moment of Behavior. I am with those families. But one thing I typically do or talk to them about is first, I always talk about self-grace, because they're already going through so first off, I know I'm not a counselor. I never tried to be a counselor, but I think that through behavior, we can still talk about grace and the importance of emotional regulation for the parent. So I always try to address that first. Like, okay, how are you showing up for yourself first? Because this is a tough time for you. Like, you just got a diagnosis, you're trying to find a therapist to, get into, and the doctors tell you, okay, go here, here, here. And there's the long laundry list that parents have to go through. So just first, what are you doing for yourself? Then when it comes to their child, I talk to them about just seeing, going back to what behavior means, or the functions of behavior, what behavior is of most importance to you right now, and how can we focus on that one behavior and improving that, whether it's your child aggressing towards you, let's really hone in on that one behavior and see why is your child aggressing, when are they aggressing, what time of day have they eaten, some of those components that I talked about before. So I feel like parents come, especially during that time, there's so many things that they want to address, but really just trying to pick one thing to focus on, because you can't change everything overnight. So just really picking one thing, focusing on that for a while before you even try to tackle on other skills. Because you can become even more overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I got to we need a potty train, and we need to work on eating. We need to go sit at the table and all of these other things. But picking, even if it's not a behavior, picking one skill.
You need to start somewhere.
Yes.
That's,
Yes.
A value system. It's funny because even day to day in business or in our lives, we pick I get home, for example, and I have to go somewhere tomorrow, but I have a stack of laundry and then I have the dishes. So what am I picking and choosing first? Well, I'm going to go for the laundry, because then while my laundry's going, I can get the dishes, and then tomorrow I'll have my outfit. So I plotted that out.
Yes.
So I feel like I like to always make an analysis so people see there are similarities in the day-to-day things, and people get so overwhelmed, and that's so right. Truly breaking it down, picking that first area, because once you get that rolling, then you can roll into the next area.
Yeah, kind of like the avalanche effect.
That's right. So. Yes. Do you have a practical strategy for meltdowns that you would like to share with parents, and how they could address that area when it comes?
Yeah, so first, I always say try to validate your child's feelings. I think it helps even the parent in that moment validate your child. And I'm speaking from experience too, because my child just came out. She's 3. I call it the 3-nager stage. Lots of emotions there.
Yes.
So yes. I always tell parents to try to validate, their child's feelings in the moment first. Okay, I see you are upset. I know you are mad. I know this is really hard for you right now. And like I said, I practice this myself, even with my child and other clients that I serve. But when you validate your child's feelings in a meltdown, it not only helps your child begin to hear those words that you are accepting of what's going on right now, but that you are also, it helps you as a parent kind of regulate too, because if we don't respond to our children with calm, and we're not calm, then it can also escalate that meltdown a little more. So validating the emotion, and then after that, really trying to see why they had the meltdown in the first place. And then once you kind of figure that out, it's okay, they have a meltdown because they can't have a certain snack. Well, then let them have the meltdown, give them the space, but then offer them an alternative after that. Okay, I see you're mad. I know you're upset. Talk to them when they're ready, because if you're trying to talk to your child in the middle of a meltdown, they're not going to hear you. They're yelling, screaming, falling to the floor. It's just not a productive conversation at that point. So waiting until they're calm, giving them squeezes, hugs, whatever your child is very receptive to in those moments. And then offering other choices, such as, giving them alternatives to snacks or just something else to do.
I think that's so valuable, because every single time people really don't know. They hear, you're in a store that your kid starts screaming and you're like, be quiet, it's so embarrassing. And no, and it's true. And people, I think they lose themselves. So having valuable tips like that, addressing the child, actually facing them and being like, Susie, I know it's hard. You're tired. You're hungry. We're going to quickly get the stuff at the store. Address them, and we're heading out. That's it. Don't worry. We got it. Or giving them a distraction, maybe not a phone, because obviously That's
Yeah.
what everybody reaches for. I'm guilty too. But a grape or a banana, something that keeps them occupied, or keep like a little sticker book or a book with you, so that they can like
Yeah.
look at it and then following those steps. I truly think today we're so hyper focused on like social, and we're missing that human interaction. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, our children are really in the middle of it because they don't know a
Yeah.
life without these electronics. And
They
if someone
don't.
isn't approaching them when they're upset and just shoving a phone in their face, as like, what are we teaching them? So I feel like having strategies for any parent, for any meltdown, is incredibly valuable because you will need them. And instead of putting a phone in
Yes.
their face, you can give them something else. And with
Yeah.
them with communication, touch, real things.
Yes, and it helps them like for the future as well too, because the more you like do those types of things, and like you said, like even offering them something else like a sticker book, or the things that we forget about instead of like the phone, it just helps with their like emotional regulation, like for the future.
And so literally this is where language and regulation overlap, and parents are often like, they're so focused on stopping the behavior that they're rushing to do it, and they forget, like you said. But that's what we need to ask, like, what skill is missing, and is that then what you're training them? Like they take the course to better understand, hey, I can pull this out instead of just the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
when
ma'am.
we talk about skills, we also have to talk about support systems. And what do you think about, caregiver burnout and how that then affects the behavior of the family and the child?
Okay, that's a real thing. I think that, I mean, I feel like even myself, I've experienced like caregiver
Oh, yeah.
burnout, but as just a parent, because you're working, you're trying to like be a good mom and all the other roles that you carry, but just really being intentional about like just taking time for yourself is really important, whether that's even like in the heat of a moment of like frustration, when a behavior is like really intense, and if you feel like for yourself and you're already burnt out, you feel like you can't like manage that in the moment, like just taking a step back, like, I just need to go in the bathroom like really quick and take a breath, and then like come back and repeat and try it again, like being okay with not being able to manage that moment, and then like just trying to lean on other people that are there if you have support, because I know moms, we feel like we have to take on everything, we have to handle it all, but especially if you have like a partner involved, definitely like leaning on them, but just remember to always like try to take those breaks for yourself, especially like in a moment when you feel like you can't handle it well.
I think that's the hardest thing, because every mom wants to be known as the superwoman, and we are because we're raising kids in this day and age. Everybody's working in some way. We're
Yeah.
stay at home is a work too, but I mean,
It
on
is.
top of that, people are working from their computer. They want to make a couple extra dollars. Families are bigger, expenses are higher, and we really tackle everything. I know myself, people are like, how do you do all these things? I don't know. I just do. And we layer it and layer it and layer it. And, funny enough, I was just telling you, like, I couldn't fly home because I got snowed in, and
Yeah.
a little piece of me felt some sort of relief, because I've really been going at it nonstop for weeks, and I'm tired, and I'm not here on vacation. I'm still working, but the buzz,
Yeah.
family, I'm just away from that for a minute. And I wouldn't have taken it for myself. So God put me, he's like, that's it. go.
Yep.
And I believe in that kind of stuff, but literally
Me too,
listen
yeah.
to your body. And if you're feeling super depleted, if your cup is empty, like, how can you give to someone else? How will you have patience to serve anyone else? So I believe in breath work, stepping away from a minute.
Yeah.
Take those deep inhalations. It's good for your regulatory system. It's good for your vocals. It's good for your mind.
Yeah.
So parents, I mean, you feel that.
I would even say like not being afraid to speak up about it, because I know a lot of parents sometimes can be silent in those moments, but it's like, no, say like, I need to step away. Like, can somebody like come over here for a second, or like I'm over this.
They
like,
don't want
and
to
it's
feel
okay.
ashamed, because they don't want to feel like they couldn't do something. That's what I'm saying. We all want to be superhuman, but you're going to burn yourself down to a point where you can't be human at all.
Right. So you have to be okay with just saying, like, I can't do this.
What do you
I need a
think
second.
about physicians who are telling families, like, let's wait and see, you don't have to rush to do something, and the parent is like, well, I really need, your referral, or I need your help because I don't want to wait, but they're really pushing it because I'm not of the wait culture. I'm like, start sooner than later. And I'm getting a lot of people come and they're like, I wish I started sooner, or my physician told me to wait. What do you think about all that?
I mean, I know physicians have their right to have their opinion, but I mean, the parent, you as a parent, you always know best. Like, you know your child, you know the ins and outs, you know the things that they're like, the milestones that they're reaching, the things that they're not doing, the things that they do well and not well at. So with that, I just think that parents should advocate as much as they want and as they can. And if one physician is not going to give them that referral, then I would try to go to another one. Yeah, find a new one. Like, this is at the end of the day, like, this is your life. This is your child. You have to take care and live with your child. So just because one physician says, nah, we can wait. Okay, like, that's your recommendation, but I think otherwise. So I'm going to go somewhere else because I really feel that I need this and I want this for my child. And if it comes to that, they really don't need it, it's better to have had something and tried it and then just wait around, and then you're not making any kind of progress, especially like when you need the support and the help.
1,000,000%. And I always tell parents, I'm like, early support doesn't mean you're overreacting. You're being a parent. Yeah. That's more powerful and impactful for your kid than sitting around being like, well, they said to wait. What is there, like, a time frame? I always say that, like, they tell you like 3 months, 2 weeks. How long are we waiting? Yeah. People have no idea, and then they miss the window, and then they're worried because now, when people get into patterns, it's harder to break the cycle versus starting sooner and then building. So my advice to people, parents, if you're out there listening and you have any concern for your kiddo, act. And if, just like Kea said, if you can't find a provider who is giving you what you need, there's plenty of them. So keep looking.
Yes.
That's right.
You have choices.
So I want to throw in some rapid fire. Yeah. A parent just received an autism diagnosis yesterday. What's step one?
If they received it yesterday, step one, I would say, is just, I would reach out to any local, like, support groups. I feel like that's always very beneficial, especially like on Facebook, like reaching out to your local autism support groups and seeing kind of what's in there, and like your local just autism society group, because they can point you in the right direction of different resource providers that are local to your area, and people that can support you along the way as well.
That is a solid first step. That is, because it's very overwhelming to get hit with news, and then if you don't know and you're starting to, like, it can be very overwhelming. So that is solid. How about if there's a family on a 6-month ABA wait list? What's the smartest thing they can do?
Contact me. No, the smartest thing they could do, I would say, is just continue to, like, look for like digital resources as far as like what skills they're like looking to work on. Either like on YouTube, there's always a lot of videos. On like Facebook, those groups, again, I keep referring back to those groups because I think that I've looked into those groups and they are very beneficial, especially with other parents who are kind of like in the same waiting space. I know like some states will have waitlist groups for families, and a lot of the parents kind of like talk in there, and then finding different like workshops specific to behavior or speech or OT, whatever it is that you're looking for. But if it's specifically ABA, then I will look for like different workshops that touch on different skills or concerns that the parent is having.
And what's one thing that you wish, one sentence, one thing that every parent should hear?
That you are enough. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like every parent, like you are enough. I could go on a tangent about it, but you said one sentence.
Yes. I mean, I think people blame and shame themselves when things go down. So that's, you are enough. I like that.
Yep.
Where, if people want to chat with you, where can they find you? What's the best way to reach out to you for your services?
Yeah. So, my website at www.momentofbehavior.com, but the best way to get in contact with me is through Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm very responsive on Instagram, which is at moment_of_behavior. And I have like forums up there as well, but that's like where I can be reached at.
Awesome. And is there anything that you want to leave with parents if they're in any walk of life in behavior or autism? You have the floor to tell them. Piece of your mind.
Yes. So for me, my mission is that like, I really want parents to enjoy parenting. I think we have just so much on our plate and there's so many expectations for parents, like I said before, that we are just not really prepared for. So just finding like little joys in your day through parenting and just really learning to like love on your child and like love on yourself. Because at the end of the day, like that's really all that matters. And that's what's most important.
That's so special. I think that the biggest takeaway from today is that behavior is not the enemy. It is information.
Oh, yeah.
And when we slow down long enough to understand it, we will stop fighting our children. We will start supporting them. Kea, thank you so much for translating science into something families can actually use. And parents, if you're someone listening and you're feeling overwhelmed, you are not failing. You are navigating something complex. Support exists, as you see, clarity exists, and your child is not broken. They are attempting to communicate with you. So follow Kea, connect with her work, and if this episode resonated, please share it with another parent who needs to hear it. This is the Growth Lab, where we decode development, empower families, and build confidence from the inside out. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me here at the Growth Lab podcast. I really hope this episode was helpful. If it was, stick around for more episodes by subscribing to the podcast wherever you're listening. And if you know a fellow parent that could use this episode, share it with them. Follow me on Instagram at Luba Patlakh. That's LubaPatlakh for daily advice and resources to keep you informed between episodes. See you next time.